Hello and welcome back to another video on the JJ Think Tank. It's a lovely day today here where I am, and now I'd like to ponder on the topic of free will, flow and surrender. Do we have freedom? Do we have a bit of freedom in our lives, or are we totally controlled by outside forces who are that are shaping our lives and which control us and lead us into a position where we are only puppets. This is what I would like to talk about in this video. I wrote this article nearly 2 years ago now, and I remember it was a decent article. It was kind of off the cuff. I was observing myself during the day, and during this observation I was trying to pinpoint moments when I thought I could grasp a sense of free will, a sense of freedom, yes? But I couldn't really do it. When you are doing something, when you are acting, I don't think there is a moment where you actually have a moment of freedom or free will. I don't know how to explain it properly. This is quite an abstract topic. And I guess when we analyse the term, the phrase, free will, free, will, free. I mean, this current thought of mine is derived from Sam Vaknin, a psychologist, who says that this is an oxymoron. I can't remember exactly how he explained it, but he highlighted the fact that having a will and being free at the same time is not possible. Because when you will something, you are not in control. I think this is what he was trying to get at. This is what he was trying to share with us. I can link the video in the description where he talks about free will. He explains the issue much more clearly and succinctly. I don't know how to say that properly in English. Succinctly. It's a difficult word to pronounce. Succinctly. Let's see how do we pronounce this word, succinctly. How to pronounce succinctly. Succinctly, okay. I thought it was pronounced differently, but never mind. Anyway, let's go into my article now. I'll just share my thoughts, what I think about this, and I'll link the idea of freedom to flow and surrender, and why we can feel more free when we start to surrender, yes? When we start to enter a state of flow, when we stop trying to control outcomes so much, when we're not afraid of making mistakes. So I just made a mistake now with the word succinctly. I didn't know how to pronounce it, yes? Succinctly. A difficult word. A nice word in English. Succinctly. But anyway. So yes, I remember I was just observing myself. And I came to the conclusion that a lot of what we do is kind of unconscious in nature. After the fact, we realised that we weren't really in control. Yes, this event, it came out from our unconscious mind, but only afterwards, when we reflect on what happened, we can adjust our course and then perhaps gain a sense of freedom. This is how I view freedom, really. Freedom is just a moment of reflection. In the act of reflecting is where we find a sense of freedom, I think, because when we reflect, we can think, we can start to think more rationally, we can use our reason, and but by doing this, we improve the level of freedom in our lives. Yes, I think in the actual process of living, when you are acting, when you are engaged in something, you actually don't really have much free will. I think you don't really have much freedom because all the events that take place are linked to previous events that already happened in the past, and the past extends back God knows how long. I mean, so yes. When I try to to locate the moment when I make a decision, or when I make a decision to do X, yes, to do something, to look at something. So, for instance, just now I'm looking around. There's not much freedom. Yes, I mean these events, they just happen. They just arise. Yes, and when I wrote this observation of mine, it led me to being reminded of Benjamin Libet's discoveries, wherein he supposedly proved that instead of our intentions causing our actions, our non-conscious brain processes initiate the actions before we even intended them. And then this is what I wrote. So in essence, our brains make the choices for us before we consciously catch up and realize. I mean, definitely this is the case in certain moments, in certain time phases of our lives. But we always have an opportunity to step back and to reflect. And when we reflect, we can start to think. And this is a source of freedom, in my opinion. This is how I view freedom. Maybe this doesn't make sense. Maybe this is wrong. Maybe I've made a philosophical mistake. I don't know. But this is how I view freedom. Really, in the act of reflection, you have freedom. Yes, you can change the course of action. You can change your course of action. You can make choices. You can decide to do something. You can act with more intentionality. So I think I disagree with Benjamin Libet. We have intentions, and these intentions can make an impact on our lives. We're not totally at the mercy of forces outside of us, yes, I think. I think we are, yes, and this is why I wrote in the next passage. I personally believe we are, but in a much more limited sense. Our freedom is it's limited. Yes, I'm just repeating myself. It's limited. Again, here I like to think of freedom as train tracks. So we've got a few train tracks at our disposal. We can choose to go whether we go down this train track, whether we go down this train track or this one. Because what I've noticed is that when you decide upon something, and you let events just transpire, during this process you don't actually have much freedom. I would even say that if you try to force a sense of freedom during these processes, then you actually sabotage yourself, because as I said before at the beginning of my video, when you try to control outcomes too much, when you try to control what will happen in the future, you actually mess up your life more. Because you become too anxious, too worried, you care too much about what will happen. So this is how I view freedom, really. This is my view of freedom, and I guess it's a more mature concept of freedom. I'm 31 years old now, so obviously I've experienced more in life, and I can think more critically about these issues. And in these moments of reflection, when we reflect on the past and when we plan for the future, I believe we can definitely say we are free. We can say that we are free, 100%, in my opinion. And in this context, a quote from Kierkegaard is quite suitable. It's quite relevant, which he says that life must be lived forwards, but it can only be understood backwards. I think this quote can explain a lot for us. This brilliant thought by Kierkegaard. Yes, it's true. We constantly life is constantly moving forwards. We're swept under these forces of life that are outside of our control. But even in this chaos, I guess we can still reflect. Yes, because when we think about the past, when we reflect backwards, we can understand. Yes, we can understand our life and our actions more. And I think this is what Kierkegaard was alluding to when he said that it can only be understood backwards. And again, here, I interpret this to mean that we are constantly able to improve our decision making based on previous experience. So yes, by reflecting, we can engage in self-corrective activity. We can turn on our self-corrective mechanism. Yes. And so I guess everything that I have said so far it's in line with the compatibilist view of free will. And I believe Daniel Dennett had this view of free will. I mean, overall, out of all the atheists, out of all these famous atheists, I like him the most. I think he was the most intelligent out of all of them. Defended, yeah, exactly. So philosopher Daniel Dennett defended a view called compatibilism, arguing that a meaningful free will worth wanting is fully compatible with a deterministic universe. He rejected the idea that our choices must be uncaused to be free, asserting instead that free will is an evolved capacity for self-control and rational decision-making. Yeah, that's brilliant. Yes. So you put the words into my mouth. Yeah, so I guess it's the same as what I just said. We have this self-corrective mechanism within us that we can use, yes, to boost our sense of freedom, to boost it. Yes, and here I agree with Dennett. Magical free will, that magical thinking, isn't it? There's a lot of magical thinking out there. Unfortunately, we don't have that much freedom. We do, but it's limited. Yes. So he argued against this traditional magical free will, that the idea that our choices are completely uncaused. This is nonsense. No. Unfortunately, our choices are caused by so many factors. Yes, biological factors, physical factors, the relationships we have with people. I mean, so many factors. Yes, our health, etc. Yes, so. And yes, so again, I forgot that I wrote this, but it alludes to what I said before about the train tracks, yes? So we have many deterministic avenues or paths to take, but it is up to us and our sense of ethics and morals to decide which course to take. So we can take the deterministic path of Satanism. We can fulfill the world. No, not the world. We can fulfill the will of Satan and his petty minions and demons. We can take the lukewarm path. The lukewarm path that is in the middle, yes. Or we can take the radical Christian path of being totally devoted to the Lord, being totally devoted to God, and submitting our will totally to the will of the Lord. This is one way, yes, that we can picture free will, yes. And I think this compatibilist view of free will is definitely more coherent, I think. Many perhaps would argue that the last train track, the last deterministic path that I provided is lacking in free will, because if we totally surrender to God or to the universe or whatever, then we actually lose our sense of freedom, our ability to decide. Yes, I mean, to be honest, I disagree. I disagree. Again, this is paradoxical, but when you actually surrender, when you start to surrender more, when you start to enter these flow states more often, you actually gain a sense of freedom and a feeling of self-control, of having a locus of self-control. It's paradoxical. This is what I think based on my experience, and yes, I mean it's better to do this than to overthink and try to control events and outcomes, because this is counterproductive. I was trapped in this for so long. Perhaps I'm still trapped in this world partially. I mean, obviously, it's anxiety never really goes away, I guess, but you have to fight back against this, because when you think too much, when you overthink, you don't move forward really. And yes, I mean, this article is quite popular, got 168 claps. Quite a lot of people agreed with me. Someone responded, I can't remember now. I enjoyed reading your thoughts on free will and the unconscious processes that guide our actions. It's exciting to think about how much of what we can do can take place beneath our consciousness. Yes. Rohana Virasoria. Yes, I definitely agree. I mean, there's so much takes place beneath our consciousness, so we don't really have control over this, unfortunately. You know, that's why we need to be compassionate. We need to forgive others, because most of the time they're not really in control, are they? I mean, so anyway, that's the end of the video. Once again, thank you for listening. I don't want to waste more of your time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in to the JJ Think Tank and spending your time here with me. If you are a new viewer, consider liking and subscribing. It will help me grow the channel and spread more vital information that I think will help a lot of people out there. If you are an existing subscriber, let me know what you think. Comment, like. I'm interested to know whether you agree. Share your thoughts and ideas, because in the act of sharing, we improve our lives, because you can share something very important, an important thought, an idea that can really help a lot of people, you know, to make an impact and to improve their life. So yeah, let me know what you think. But anyway, yes, that's the end of the video. Once again, thank you for listening and take care.